Now, it's the stories from Gallipoli, handed down through generations, that paint the best picture of the war, the Great War, for us. And this week we've been bringing you some of our stories, tales from our TV-NZ colleagues.
This morning, Sunday reporter Ian Sinclair tells us about his two great uncles.
So I had two uncles on Gallipoli. My great uncle, Willie, he served as a gunner in the New Zealand Army on Gallipoli, and my uncle, Penny, he volunteered in Australia, though he's from Glenorchy. He volunteered in Australia for the Australian Light Horse and went there as a sergeant and came back, as an invalided home, and told the stories to my aunties back in Glenorchy about his experience. He told of the horror of having to bayonet a Turk, how when the Turk came running at him, he was a frightening enemy, but when the bayonet went in and he saw the light fade from his eyes, he just transformed into a boy, and that really horrified him. He was offered a commission in the New Zealand Army from when he was in Glenorchy, and he decided he'd turn that down, and he went back as a private into the Light Horse to rejoin his cobbers, and he died of wounds a couple of years later in northern France. There was a terrible confusion over Uncle Penny. There's a telegram that arrived at my grandfather's house, Arcadia House in Glenorchy, and it simply said that he'd died of wounds. Then afterwards, Grandad got a letter from his son saying, "It's okay, I'm wounded, I was just wounded and I'm back at the front." And the letter to the Australians says, "I've been waiting now for 6 months, I haven't heard anything more, and I just wondered what might have happened." And what happened was he was wounded twice and he died the second time. So my grandfather had his boy die, come to life and die again. The other uncle, Willie, he made it right through the war and was gassed twice in northern France, came back, got as far as Queenstown and succumbed to the Spanish flu when he was just one ride on the Earnslaw away from home and seeing my grandmother again. So he went, and that was 2 weeks before the end of the war.
Gosh, these stories are amazing, aren't they?
So many tragic stories.
No, the story about having the letter that said he had passed and then "no, I'm fine," and then to work out that actually the first letter had crossed over the second one.
I'd love to, if we have
father.
time after 8:30,
Poor
tell the
father.
story of, you know, the Anzac Award which Louise Nicholas won last night,
Yeah.
of a private with his donkey. It's fascinating. Another amazing war story behind that. We might have time after 8:30 to have a chat about that.
Yeah.